And this is Dave from Iron Blackbird Cycles. And we're getting ready to do a little bit of airbrushing today. Just dropping in some background color. This is just the white base that we're putting down so that we can put color on top of this. And allow us to get to the get the mask off and get to the freehand. And I'm being real careful with the mask because these little hairs off the leg have to be free-handed in, and a little bit of overspray is just going to help the look a little bit. That ought to be enough white to get it done. We don't want him too bright. Like I said in earlier videos, this airbrushing that's on this tank is not mine. I don't know if they even know who did it, but they had a mishap with some fuel. And I don't know what kind of clear they used for this, but the fuel shouldn't have ate it up as bad as it did, but it ate it up, so we're patching in basically. And hopefully we can get something close to the other spiders. We'll have to dig up some straight colors to do this in. May even have to go get some Createx paint tomorrow to finish this up with. Depends on what colors I find today in the cabinet full of paint. Now we got all the mask off. Probably what I'm going to do is load up the airbrush with a little bit of black. Come in here and do some of the darker shading as we go along. What I'm doing now is just adding some highlights to the shading. We're going to come in with black. I'll probably do this twice. A lot of times I'll just kind of nail some of the darkness out of it to lighten it up a little bit, especially when we go to put the color on it. A couple pieces of mask right there. We go coloring over this, it'll make more sense. One of these days I'm going to do just a full freehand job for you guys. Most of the people I'm working with are working on a budget and that kind of thing, so they can't afford to take up, 10 days of my time to do a masterpiece, so we run them as fast as we can. Let's talk Bob Ross for a moment. See that overspray that got under that mask? It's like a piece of web, What I'm doing is just putting some highlights on this shading area. I don't know if we'll get the color today, but we should get get the white done and some shading and stuff like that. So. I don't have to be too careful with this webbing because it'll get this blue color over it, some shading around it, so a lot of this is gonna go away. Of course, all these little hairs off the spider leg is going to be colored the same deal as the spider, so they won't get mixed in with the webbing. Got a lot of tip drying going on today. Clear that off. None of this is going to be covered up in shading, so I'm just dropping some background stuff in. I'm not being too careful about it. And this is all just background work that I'm working on right now. This is going to get like a color, and then I'll go back over it steadily with some more white so that it all lines up. This is just kind of, if there were webs on top of webs, we're running them. You'll see what I mean when we get to that point. In order to make these webs look full, I'll be going over them 2 or 3 times. So this is just quick laying in some background. We don't want these webs to be too perfect. If they're perfect, then they're not going to look right. Nature's not perfect. And I want just a little bit of glow over the top of these webs around this spider. Gives them a little depth. Because we'll be coming in with some shading in a minute. It's going to separate him. Set him over the top of the scene. And that'll be enough background work on those. We'll come in with some color and knock those down, and then come back over with more webbing and make them look a little better. This is just some background. If you notice back in here, there's a lot of background stuff. This is what I'm trying to reproduce, is a lot of these extra little lines and stuff that are in there. I don't want to get it too heavy because I want him to be the main part of the scene. Okay, let's do a little bit of shading. And then I'm gonna see if I can dig up a little bit of color to put in it. I'll be right back after I mix up some paint for y'all. Okay, so I'm toning this white back, these webs back with some blue. And then we're gonna go with a little bit of green too. As you can tell, these webs are toned down a lot, down into greens and blues and what have you. What I'm doing is just putting a little blue in, a little green in. I do what's called layered airbrushing, if you want to call it that. I'm going to stack color. I'm going to stack color, and then I'm going to stack color, and then I'm going to come in and do some detail work. And you get this layered effect that I think looks pretty good, to be honest. But you gotta watch, that's the thing. If you just catch me in the middle of something, it doesn't look like much. But by the end, it always comes together real nice, see? And we're not anywhere near the end yet, so. What I'm doing is layering in background, because we're gonna come back over the top of this with black and some shading, and then more white highlights to bring stuff back out. And that's probably enough of the blue in there. I don't want to get it too blue because this has a lot of dark in it, but we're going to be coming back in doing some shading in this with black, so we want to make sure we're getting all that done. Okay. And we're going to start doing a little black shading. I hope I'm not blocking the camera, but and we'll be coming back over this with white to get those hairs to stand out again. What I wanted to do was just get enough darkness in here behind this spider before we get too much going on. Look at this black here. Seems a little thick. That is not the black I was using. Give me just a minute. I keep one can thin for airbrush and one can solid for paint. Here's the thin stuff. Over here trying to spray full thick black. That's not gonna work well. What a while I was getting so many little flecks here. That's much better. Okay. A lot of tip drying today. And I know it looks like I'm doing a lot more black than I should be, but I need to tone it down because it's going to get color over the top of it. And once color goes on, then we do a little more highlights, a little more shading. And these edges of this spider can't be all nice and tight or it's not going to blend in well. So I'm just toning everything down. He's starting to come together. You see how I'm using this black to tone these webs back a little bit. We don't want these to stand out as much as the next layer that's going to go over the top of them. So we're just kind of dancing these back to the background. Let's get over here for a minute. Okay, I'm going to drop this back into the back, around the head there. Touch those webs back just a little. Okay. As you can see, what I did a while ago was not that important. That's why we were not trying to be delicate and use a lot of detail, because this is just going in the background. This will be buried under other stuff. You won't even notice it when it's all said and done. I think before I call it a day on this, because I've got to go pick up some other colors for this thing. I might put a little more white in it. Need a little highlight there. Okay, let's do just a little bit of white. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to completely clean out this airbrush, the black out of it. I'm going to just run some thinner through it. And pour the white in on top of it. So I get a little bit of gray effect. And the white that I'm laying in is more for the color coming over the top of it than highlights right now. So you'll get a chance to see what I'm talking about. I've got some of the shading in, but I want to get some of these highlights in that'll be covered in color. There's two types of highlights that I like to talk about. One of them is with color, because you can use a lighter color to get a highlight. One of them is with black, of course, or shades of gray. Now I might do this 3-4 times just to get the effect that I'm looking for. I mean, like the hairs and stuff. Because what I want is dark and light, dark, light, dark, light. As you can see, what we're doing is we're just building up. I'm self-taught. Everything I do, I'm self-taught, so. I don't know if everybody thinks I'm good, but people pay me to do what I do, so I guess that makes a difference. As long as I'm getting paid, that's all I care about. Let's see here. I can put you over here so I can work on this other side. He's starting to come to life, as you can tell. When the color goes on, that's going to be the main thing. When the color goes on, and we come back in with some shading over the color, that makes a huge difference. So this is not really what I would call detail work. This is just, we're just laying in color. So, and right now we're just laying in lights and darks, which will get to the color in a short time. Okay, so tomorrow we'll get some, we'll get back on this, get some color in it, get another video up for you guys. I definitely want to get some color in it tomorrow before I go too far. I could work on it like this for hours. You guys up stand where you can see this thing. So it's coming together. It's definitely going to need some more color. When we get the spider colored, then we'll go back to the web work and get it laced in nice and neat. Right now it's just background work. It's starting to look pretty good though. We will be back tomorrow with you guys for, it'll probably be tomorrow evening. I've got to run and pick up some different colors and stuff for this because most of the paint that I have here is metallic. So I really don't want to put metallic in it, being as none of the other spiders on this have any metallic. I know the one that was on top was gold like this. I'm not even sure what this spider was that was on top. He'll be getting my own rendition of one of these spiders that's close to it. So y'all stick around and tune in. Probably day after tomorrow I will have the other video up. So y'all like and subscribe and check back with Iron Blackbird Cycles for more paint work.